Yeah, welcome to podcast and hang out with SFT. Yes, I'm using Anchor. Anchor is an app where you can do your own podcast and lift them up and upload them to any network. It's the best you can use to do a podcast anywhere. It's mobile. Thank you to Anchor for giving me an opportunity like this. It's quite a great one. Yes, let's pick up from where we left off on more of the podcast that I'm usually doing. And today I'm focusing on the youth struggle to make ends meet during this COVID. Well, we are on a day 64 on this year, in the year 2021. We left with 301 days. Yes, I tell you now, it's true, youth are struggling to make ends meet, and it's not because of COVID. This happens before COVID, and challenges they were like funding in businesses that they attempted to do. Some they've already began their projects, but they never got any recognition. I can tell you now, South Africa, I'm not sure if it's more like in other countries, but the youth is facing more challenges in art. I'm talking about thespians, artists. They are seriously not recognized by the government, and it's so sad. I mean, most of the things they were exposed when we hit by this COVID, that they really never consider that artists are playing a major role in. They're the most important tool in this country. I mean, everywhere. It's the most important education that thespians are living out there. I mean, it's timeless. Yet they're not being recognized. I'm talking about project documentaries, film, music, theater performances. It can be musical, it can be anything. So artists were never seen as the most important tool by government, and till this day, I mean, it's a struggle. You won't get any funding from a government to make any of your projects. For an example, right now, you will come up with a script and saying, look, I've got a good story to tell, African story, and then you need funding. You'll get an insult. I mean, according to me, it's an insult. I mean, how do you give someone 100K or 200K to say, go and do this project? Who do you pay with that money? There's a writer, there's a director, there's all those creatives involved in that project. So on that money, who do you disrespect? Everyone. According to me, you disrespect everyone. You don't see people doing art as important as the people that are in the BEE things which we are reading about today, scandals. I mean, the scandals that are roving today, in the so-called state capture, stuff are being repossessed. We're seeing it. I mean, it's so sad that BEE thing, and it didn't. I don't think natives came up with this BEE thing. We didn't come up with that, and yet it's using natives as a tool of corruption, of which it's not like that. we didn't come up with an idea of PE. Someone amongst the previous colonizers' government came up with that. And yet today it's roving around messing up the black nation as if we have no idea what we are about in terms of this nation. Black people are the most creative and best inventor in everything. We are still not being recognized. Here are the artists in this country that are not being recognized, yet they have the best education ever. They're telling the best stories ever, but they are not being recognized. As soon as someone passed on, it seems like they're getting support from so-called known important people. I mean, it's so sad. We are trying by all means as youth to come up with projects, and they're being kicked down. I mean, you knock on every doors, and of which it's not supposed to happen like that. You need to go through a certain channel, yet we're going to those kind of channels. Youth still don't get the recognition. And it's so sad that every time this happens, it seems like you need to have a certain connection for your project to be publicized or for you to get funding, of which I believe we're supposed to have an office where we go and say, look, we need funding. Yet there are those channels that have been built by this government that we don't really understand where is it going. We go to those channels and sadly they will tell you that yes, we'll give you this money, but you have to pay it back in this month. I mean, what the hell? What exactly are we trying to do here? Are you funding us, or are you pushing us away and not encourage us? I mean, tons of projects haven't succeeded because of that. I mean, we're trying by all means. I mean, that's not like we doing government a favor for those funding. I mean, it's everyone's money, South Africans' money, it's taxpayers' money that has to come around and keep the ball rolling and everything be as good as the country is. We're trying to, give out. Yet that is not happening. It's quite sad because this has to happen. I mean, like Northwest, one person chows all the money. There's no funding that is being given to anyone. Come on. I mean, a lot of things are being exposed. We see these things, but no one is willing to talk, especially those who are benefiting from these things, from this funding. In indirect and illegal, they're keeping quiet about this because they are benefiting. Those on the ground are getting nothing. I mean, that's the struggle. I mean, we're still in it. It's 2021. The years just began, and then we still continue to witness all this. I mean, we're not sure where is this country going, who's in charge of taking care of the youth, because there's taxpayers' money that is roving around that has to help the youth, but it's not. And we are the witness. Go to each and every township and talk to the youth. They'll tell you there's a lot of them. Some of the youth, I mean, their parents are trying by all means to support them, but it seems like there's no light. But there is light. I mean, if we grew up in the areas where we had tuck shops that are being run by families, so today our government allowed the malls to be built just in the middle of communities. And what happened to the supermarkets that were owned by blacks? They all vanished. And now, should you go to the mall and require a space? Listen, where do you get such money? I mean, you some of the spaces there, I mean, it's crazy. You pay 73K. Someone wants to run a tuck shop, his small shop, to sell sweets, a bit of snack, to, take care of their families. We have families. We chose different life. We have life to live. Some people are breadwinners. Where are you going to get so much money to rent a space at the mall? By the way, I'm still on Anchor. I'm using Anchor to do the podcast. It's such a great initiative. It's a great opportunity that we've been given to take advantage of. To get all what is needed, the stories out there, so people can hear about it. It's just about it. Back to it. People are renting at the mall. Where do we get the money? Who is funding some of the people that are renting at the mall? We have no idea. Right? They're selling some stuff that if you can go to other shops and you can see that, look, it's been months and this shop, it's really not making what it's supposed to be making or what you think it can make to pay the rent there. So in your mind, as a human being, you can foresee things. You can see that, look, these guys are not making money to pay rent. Who's funding them? We as South Africans, no one at any mall, go to any mall in South Africa and look, you won't find any young black man who's renting a shop, running their own sneaker cleaning business at the mall. Nobody. Why? Because the mall are so ridiculous. It's like the youth in South Africa has been targeted not to be successful. Because black people are the most creative and successful people ever. Should they be given that space, our African space, our land, that look, go in the mall, pay this half. If you're not gonna make it, continue. It's not like you're not gonna pay the rent, but why can't we be given the youth can be given the opportunity to be there and explore? Because this has happened before. Communities had tuck shop everywhere. It went successful. But it seems like government is not on our side. It's against us. As we speak, there's hundreds of thousands of illegal shops. People that are owning that are not from around here. Do they pay tax? No. Are those shops registered? No. That's the struggle that the youth of South Africa is facing. As a South African, start your own business. I'm telling you, you won't last a month or two. Your own government will come running and check if you're paying tax, if you're registered, and they shut you down, and then they confiscate all your belongings, close down your shop, just because you're South African. But yet, go around each and every corner, illegal shops are there. That's the struggle of the youth in South Africa. Artists, youth, some they've grown, and still they're facing the same struggle. It's quite sad. We'll pick up from this episode right here on Anchor. Thank you so much. It has been a great and a privilege for using Anchor. Yeah, that's about it. Right? That's about it. And yeah.